Let me read to you. It's quite long. AI's response to my question, which was, I've lost it. Let's see how we go. No, I have lost it, but I'll give you the gist of it, and you could look it up yourself. I said, is it leung, the state that the Tibetan Buddhists have considered that leaves one unstable and is a result of too much meditation? And the reply of AI was, yes, you're right. In particular, it can result in all sorts of erratic states of mind, depression, anxiety, and highs and lows, and the remedy is to stop meditation completely. Typically, that's the remedy, and ground yourself in sense of watch light entertainment, even laugh with friends, relax a great deal, rest enormously. In other words, a complete sort of spiritual vacation, really. Sorry, that's ambiguous, isn't it? I mean, a complete rest from the intense meditation, from any meditation, really. I think they think it's pronounced leung. I think they spell that L-U-N-G. I thought it was leung, but I may have just misheard it from the chap who I used to know so well, Tenzin. Named after, of course, Dalai Lama, because he was ordained by the Dalai Lama. Although he himself was South African and so on. Right. Well, I think I've saved you listening to a long recording anyway. Let me pause and hear what I have got here. Well, perhaps contrasting with this advice, for the person who's, if you like, not a Tibetan Buddhist, but is seeking God, well, it might be ambivalent. The longing for God, fullness of consciousness of Him, but at the same time, as they possibly were in heaven before they came, so to speak, they've got all sorts of undercurrents of values that are not quite consistent, or concerns that they've got values that are not consistent and really don't feel they can give up. They still long for some things that are not quite consistent with heaven, or fear that they may. So they come to earth, if you like, in this sense of the opportunity to express such, but then they suppress such opportunity because perhaps intense guilt built into their mind that they should be godly, and anything other than godly is terrible, unacceptable, wicked, evil. So they're struggling within themselves. Whereas, of course, the whole point of being on earth, as I see it, and this could well be contested, of course, I'm certain it is that it gives opportunity to have a freedom that helps you learn by experience what's wrong or right with certain desires and values that one has. And therefore the blowing a fuse thing, leung, would be a great blessing from God to allow you to stop this obsession with not having your freedom and perhaps the driving force of guilt. You throw away religion so that you can do what you're supposed to do here. Work out those values that are perhaps not consistent with heaven and get your bearings. In other words, the state of leung is a way that God has it to keep you on the path that he knows and he values. But to others, onlooker might seem terribly disastrous, like Marshall, experiencing this with perhaps, I don't know, perhaps his first or third wife, that he's likely to almost despair at the sudden swing in this angelic character who embraces hating him and violence and so on. But in fact, is God, I'm arguing here, loving her, giving her the freedom that she needs here to work these things out. So we don't battle against it. We don't, Pentecostal-wise, cast it out. It's evil. In fact, if anything, that's the awful guilt that, in Christian terms, may have caused her to be suppressing the freedom and in some worldly sense, freedom is valued by the world. They don't have it because, of course, they're burdened with the wrong values that are not for a fullness of life and blessing. But they're here to find out. The lessons can be tough, to put it mildly, but perhaps necessary. Ask God. I don't say Marshall's right here, I'm just dwelling upon the subject. It's very important to me, of course, because of my third divorce experience, collapse of marriage. But perhaps helpful to me in coming to terms with what could otherwise be a great tragedy in one's life from a worldly point of view, but not from a godly heavenly point of view. Our Heavenly Dad loves all of us, without favoritism, so we trust him for what happens, or we desire to. But we don't feel guilt if we don't. We just suffer the consequences if we don't. Do you see? As you know, I think religion's gone completely off track with this notion of guilt, especially Christianity, of course. It's the epitome of it. But, you're responsible and goodness, you're so guilty, you should pay. It's not that. We're children. We're in a state of unknowing and we make mistakes, and the good parent understands that and loves us. Even so, how much more our wonderful Heavenly Dad. Simple, really. No need to feel guilty. Great need to be thankful for their love and kindness. God's love and kindness. Yes. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.